Man, I didn't think at all I'd ever make this video, but here we go. So as of now, good God, there are two vehicles that are scarily similar to each other, but one's more expensive, and obviously it's the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird, I feel like, it's just so, it's just not good. It's not really that good when, it's just, okay, let's start over again. Alright, so we all remember these two cars, right? These cars in Chapter 1 were basically the exact same thing. This car had a slightly better acceleration, and these cars were like, are you a Nero fan, or are you an Overdrive fan? Which one did you buy first? Even though they're basically the exact same thing. And come Chapter 2, this vehicle is no longer as good as it was. It's a one-seater, and it sucks. That's just it just sucks. So yeah, so they clearly, on Chapter 2, changed it so that these two vehicles weren't competing for each other, which one's better. They just gutted the Overdrive and got rid of it. So the question is, why is the Thunderbird still existing? Because there's a vehicle that does it better. It makes no sense. Look, alright, so you have the $5 million Thunderbird right here. Then you have the $3 million Halo, which does its job better than it, and it's cheaper. It's actually weird, because this vehicle, like, basically you're paying $2 million for a vehicle for 4 wheels, like a metal body, and 1 extra seat. Like, that's no point when you can just buy the Halo. Like, yeah, you can shoot your guns out of it, but like, it's not that good. There's nothing, like, it's actually, I think the Halo's faster. The Halo's just better, like, and the problem is that they've actually changed it. It's like, let's go really fast, let's go on top speed, right? And then we instantly go to hovering, it slows down. They've changed it, obviously, but like, there's clearly like there's two solutions that I've come up with, really, to make this car better. And I really hate talking about how bad this car is now, because this was one of my favorites on Chapter 1. Anyone recommend a vehicle? Everyone's like, oh, what vehicle should I buy? I always said Thunderbird, always. Now, I'll probably be saying something like Hyperglider or Halo. Like, see? The Wave just absolutely ruined this vehicle, alright? Because, like, before when it was going, like, crazy fast, it would, like, dip everywhere. Because, there's kind of, like, waves going, like, differently. Like, sometimes the waves might be calm, and the next minute they're, like, crazy, and they're, like, all choppy. It's just, there's two solutions that I've come up with that really could make this vehicle, one that could actually fix this vehicle, but might still be, like, people might not want to buy it still, but one that can make this thing the best vehicle in the game, while still keeping it, balanced and not crazy overpowered. So the first one is just to have it, like, hovering a bit more above the water, so have it, like, the ability to kind of hover a bit more higher, so that it can go at fast speeds but not be destroyed by the waves, so it actually can, be useful, but like, it's just, I really do like this vehicle, but like, it just sucks so bad. Like, look, it could hover like at this level, but it just doesn't. But anyway, we'll move on to the second solution, which is a better solution, because clearly they've taken, some vehicles have gotten changed to be like a better counterpart, if we all know what we're talking about. But let me go to the vehicle in particular I'll be talking about that they've changed, is the Hyperglider, where they made it to be like, because it's based off, it was added in Chapter 1, but based off the Oppressor Mark 1, but didn't function like it. But then they made it so it functions like it. So the question is, why doesn't this function like the Deluxo? Why? Except, obviously, there's one thing that you can just take off, it's the missiles. Just remove the missiles, okay? It could still, like, in fly mode, you could have it in like fly mode where it can still hover above the water, but it also can fly. It might fly slow, kind of like the hovering might fly slow. You might be able to shoot guns out of it. There's a solution. Just make it like the Deluxo, alright? Make it fly, alright? Make it like a slow plane, but like, it's still a car. It can still hover above the water, technically, and it can fly. Like, there's your solution. It's not that hard. I just really want this vehicle. Want people to buy this vehicle, and I want people to have a reason to buy it. Look, see? Why buy? Like, there are vehicles out there that's like, when you might buy the Halo, you might be like, maybe I should buy the Thunderbird, but then you're like, nah, because the Halo's better. Same thing is with the Avenger, the Fury, and the Nero. When you could be grinding for the Avenger, but then it's like, why should I grind for this when I can grind up a little bit more and get the Fury, a faster car with better acceleration, which actually the acceleration I think is better than the Nero's without nitrous. Oh yes, yes. Oh, for God's sake. And then when you're about to buy that Fury, you can be like, wait, I could just save up a little bit more. I could get the Nero, which is like the fastest vehicle in the game without nitrous. You know, it's just kind of like a never-ending loop. You could also be like, oh, I could buy, you know, the Firestorm buckets, grind up just a little bit more and get the Avenger, or I could just then save a little bit more Fury and then boom, you have a Nero. Which actually, if you compare the Nero, which is cheaper than the Thunderbird, you know, you can shoot out of it. It goes faster. It might not hover above the water, but you've got boats for that. So realistically, you could buy like the best boat or the most expensive boat and this vehicle, and I think come around to, what is it, like 1.5 mil? That's like 3 million. You literally could buy 2 vehicles for that do the role of the Thunderbird. You could buy a fast vehicle like the Nero, and then you could buy like the most expensive boat in the game, the Marauder. Oh, there's a guy there. And then, oh wait, God, get out of the car. Go. But anyway, it's like, you could buy like the Marauder, which honestly I don't recommend. Don't buy the Marauder. But you could buy, let's say, like the Bulldog or the Hydro, and you could have like an extra million over that you could spend on another vehicle. Like it's a constant loop of, I could buy this vehicle, but I could buy these vehicles to do basically the role of it, and I can have a bit of money left over. Like, it makes no sense. You know, because I've changed this price from like 4 mil to 3.5. You know, honestly, it's like, why buy the Thunderbird when I can buy a Halo, or I can buy a Nero, or I can buy a boat that does its job better? And it's just sitting up here. I've only seen a few people, and every time, which only like one time, someone was like, I'm gonna buy the Thunderbird. I was like, you probably should buy. I was thinking, you probably should buy the Halo because it's better. Honestly, it's faster, probably. It's always hovering, so you can spawn it above the water and it doesn't take water damage because it's always hovering. You know, this takes water damage, but obviously without hovering mode. It's just, I want this to be a good vehicle. I've loved this vehicle. In Chapter 1 it was one of the best, now it's one of the worst, and I'm planning to come with a video talking about probably the worst vehicles you should avoid, or pointless vehicles that have no purpose, or a vehicle that outranks them. But there's one vehicle in particular I need to buy to make that video happen, and I'll probably grind for it. I was going to get the Terminator, but I think I'm going to actually go buy that particular vehicle that I don't own, and then I'm going to talk about those vehicles and say, you know, why you shouldn't buy that vehicle, why you should buy another vehicle that does the exact same job but better. So yeah, you know, it's upsetting that, you know, a lot of these vehicles in this game they're no longer as good as they were. Like, you know, I was kind of angry that the Rhino tank couldn't be spawned, but honestly the Rhino tank's really fun. Sometimes as a hero, I'll take it out and I'll have so much fun. The Rhino tank's a fun vehicle. If you could spawn it, it'd be even better. But anyway, that's my solution. Either make it hover higher, or make it like the Deluxo where it can fly, just without the missiles, so that you can fly around the map. But then it also brings up the question, why not just buy a jet? But this thing can also drive around the map, so you have a car, a boat, and a plane in one, which would make it the first vehicle that you can buy with in-game cash that can do 3 things at once. That can do those 3 things at once, which is fly, hover, and drive. Which the only other vehicle right now is the Max Prestige Commutator, which I have. I have Prestige. I have Upgrade 3, I think, which is. Hold up. Like, even this thing, even though it's slower, if you were to Prestige it, it's better than most vehicles in the game. Like the Max one, it's better than the Hyperglider, so like, you know, even though you could probably buy a Hyperglider, what's the point of buying the Hyperglider when you can just grind for this, you know? Currently, probably the Max Prestige Commutator is probably better than most vehicles, you know? Because this is Prestige 3 and it goes a little bit fast. I mean, it doesn't go crazy fast, but like, look at it. It looks nice, and the other one can actually glide. These ones can glide. You know, it makes no sense. Like, you can grind to rank 100 and buy or get the Commutator, which can hover above the water, and I don't think takes water damage because it can hover. and also can drive on land, doing basically both the jobs a Thunderbird's supposed to do. So that's my solution to fixing the Thunderbird, is to make it like the Deluxo without missiles. And it's upsetting that I even have to make this video because I really do like that vehicle. But anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye.